So you've got your new company, it's running and going well. And we fast forward to 2017, and it was Hurricane Irma that caused you to really stop and make a change that really has helped you survive COVID-19. What happened? What was the catalyst at that time? And what was it that made you say, we got to prepare differently than we are right now?
So Hurricane Irma was interesting. As a startup company, you're on the brink of survival, that thin margin between making and not making it. In those early days, it was tough. There were times that we shouldn't have made it, but somehow we were, because of having a really great team, and that team is on all sides. We were put in a position to try to imagine what the company was going to be like 10 feet underwater. So as we go into this, we're always prepared. I'm sure it's very similar best business practices that most companies have. We want to make sure that everyone in the organization is accounted for before and after.
As you're doing this disaster prep on the fly, are you at that point even documenting what it is you're doing? I mean, is this where that, as you call it, and I love the name, Armageddon playbook, is this the beginnings of when you started putting down a disaster, a real disruption plan, or did that come later, or were you starting to document it as you went through?
Right. So the first step, and then we could talk about what happened after Irma. Literally, I took one of my sons, my middle son. He likes to sketch. I took his book, and as I was sitting at the bar, not with the water, at the hotel, it was writing down what are the steps, and it's just the things that I discussed. How do we handle tomorrow? How do we make sure after we assess that the team is safe? What's the next step? How do we make sure that business can continue to run? How can we make sure that people who are impacted are going to have housing, that we're going to be able to receive merchandise, assess the damages that happen?
Let's start to bridge this a little bit. So these things you're talking about, which is, obviously payroll for employees. You're talking about how you're going to, manage the business when it's closed, what to do, all these kind of good things. So you started documenting this for, was it meant for any disruption in the future? Were you thinking another storm? I mean, nobody could have predicted COVID-19, but was it something that you started to build saying, this is our, lack of a better term, disaster plan going forward, regardless of what we face?
Yes, it's a great question. So that becomes the bedrock of what do we do in a future situation. We took the playbook and transitioned as COVID really started to run rampant and got more serious. Never, ever, ever could we have predicted COVID. We try every day to understand it. Where we started with our COVID preparation to where we are now has been a seismic change and an evolution. And I think with any issue, any disaster, any circumstance, there's got to be a willingness and an ability to change very quickly and be very nimble. So what we enacted as we went into March really came off of the heels of some of the things that we implemented during that Armageddon playbook that we put together. And again, we wanted to make sure, just like we did with Hurricane Irma, we were going to take things a week to 2 weeks at a time.